No pressure.
Yeah. How many for sale by owners do you talk to per day?
About 5.
About 5 a day.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They're the first ones I call in the morning.
First one's 156,000 off of it. So, Gia, go to line number 12 for me.
So there is an advantage to use me to market your home. Would you consider it?
Gia, no. I mean, we're not going to list.
Okay, no, got it. If I could show you, Bill, that I can net you more than what you would net selling it yourself, wouldn't it be worth 15 minutes to explore it?
Yeah, but I don't see how you can do that.
That's exactly why we need to meet for 15 minutes. Bill, I'm going to be in your area. Would you say that today works 3 or 4 p.m.?
Well, I don't get off of work until 5 o'clock.
Until 5 o'clock. I can be there at 5:30, actually. I'm looking at my calendar now.
Yeah, but we're not going to list. Right?
Got it. Yeah, completely. Again, I'd love to show you what we've done, and if it makes financial sense for you, then you can decide what's best for you.
Sounds good. Awesome! Beautiful. Hold on. Appreciate that, right? That's why we've had such success in the past, right? As you've seen. Number 2, we agreed upon commission that is fair both to the cooperating agent and also for all the work that we're going to do. So we're agreement on commission, right? Correct. Okay, excellent. And the price, right? Like you and I both agreed on a price of $249,000 to be able to sell the home, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, good. So James, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Right? Do you enjoy having salespeople in your house?
Not every day.
Not every day. Do you enjoy wasting time?
No.
No, you don't. Do you feel that I can absolutely sell this home for top dollar for you?
Bill, I really do.
Yeah.
To my wife and I, we made a promise that we were going to interview these other 2 agents.
Totally understand.
One of them is a cousin. So.
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable situation. I tell you what I'll do, and I don't mind because I've done this many times before, right? To take the pressure off of you so you can feel comfortable and feel confident, right? What I'll do is I'll actually call those individuals. Do you want to know what I'll say to them?
What will you say to them?
I'll say to them, hey, you know what, James and Ann, we're definitely looking forward to meeting with you, but they decided to go ahead and list with me, right? So, however, you're more than welcome to bring the buyers through that you may have as we begin to market it, all right? So, James, I can do that. I can go out to my car because I don't want this to feel uncomfortable for you and put you in an awkward position. So, while you guys are filling out the paperwork, I'll actually call those agents, and then that way we can get moving marketing your property. Because, James, that buyer, while you're interviewing those other agents, that buyer that's willing to pay $240 to $250 to $260, we may miss them in these next 3 or 4 days as you're interviewing agents. Now, you don't want to do that, do you?
No, we definitely don't want to miss on any agents. But again, my wife and I, we made a promise, and we got to keep that promise.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally appreciate that. So James, let me ask you this, okay? So let's say you list with me today. Okay, good, right? And or worse, you end up interviewing those other 2 agents, and you go, what a waste of time, right? And think about this. Once you do the presentation with your cousin, think about how much more uncomfortable it will be when you say no. Yeah, should we just get that out of the way right now? Okay, good. So I tell you what, here's all the paperwork. There's a couple of key portions that you need to sign. Why don't you give me their number and I'll give them a call right now. Okay, awesome, James. I'm so...
Who is here not from Arizona? How's the weather? Yes, fantastic. All right, so I've got 3 big points that I want to talk to you all about. Who has never seen me speak live before, just so I have some context? I suck. All right, I gotta get to work. Who has seen me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? All right, so I feel better. Thank you. How many of you have no idea though who I am? You've never seen me. Your broker just sent you to this class. You showed up on Tuesday like, we're gonna do what? Anybody like that? Just so I know, there's always 1 or 2. Okay. Oh, shut up. It's one of our clients. All right. So, first of all, how's Bill doing? Super amazing. I don't know where he's left. Okay, this is good. Let's talk about it. Just a couple, just shout outs because I gotta give them. First and foremost, my wife is here, right? Some of you may have met her. She's standing right in the back, right over there. They say hello, Tom Ferry. We're having this wonderful sort of role reversal right now because we've been married now for 25 years, coming up in October, together for 27 years, and she's insanely smart, brilliant business person, strategist, and health conscious, and an insanely great mother, and I've married her twice, so like she's a keeper. You with me on this? But now all of a sudden, she's launched this new product, she's all fired up, she's doing video, and like there are people in my office like, hey, Kathy's doing video. Like, you should be nervous. She's killing it. So I just want to say publicly, baby, congratulations. I'm super proud of you. Give her a big round of applause. Love it, love it, love it. And without a shadow of doubt, do you want more power, energy, and focus? Do you think there's a correlation between being healthy mentally and physically and selling a lot of real estate? What do you guys think? Okay, do me a favor. Turn to your buddy. Just jab them right in their side and say, he's talking to you. You all signed the waiver before you got here, so the physical touch thing is okay. Without a shadow of doubt, we thank my friends at Zillow and Bank of America for just being here and making this a very low-cost experience for you guys. I will tell you, like, I'm doing a loan right now with Bank of America, which is probably my 4th loan, and it's a complex loan, and it's a big loan, and it's been delayed multiple times. And I have to tell you guys, like, their customer service is on point right now. And I remember, and they never like when I say this, but I always tell because I just speak the truth. When I announced that my partner was Bank of America, it was like right at the end of the shit burrito. You know what I'm talking about? And like, you know, they were going through the tragedy of acquisition of what was Countrywide. Who remembers Countrywide? Oh, hey, can you breathe? Here's a loan. Here's 7. All right, let's go, right? And they went through all of that, and they scathed it, they survived, they helped people, they figured it all out. And I remember making the announcement of the National Association of Realtors, saying literally, I partnered with Bank of America, and I believe their best days are in front of them. And what's great now is they are just crushing it on a customer service level. So can we just thank my friends at B of A and just give a nice big round of applause. And I'm actually going to talk about this other group today just because it's so critical. Bill was just talking about trust and rapport. I'm going to talk to you guys about how do you start, let me restate this. Who wants a ton of business in 2019, 2020, and 2021? Okay, no, this is not, I'm talking strategic, not like motivational. If you want business in like 19, 20, and 21, we are going through a massive shift in how consumers decide today. Let me back up. I sit in a very unique position. I get phone calls from CEOs of companies that say, hey, you know, we just acquired this giant business and we're not sure how, you know, what to do with these other 1,000 agents. Or last week I had spent 3 hours at Facebook and they're like, help us understand real estate. What do we need to do? How do we do it better? And then they were pitching me on stuff and I was pitching them on stuff. And you know, when you collaborate with people at that level, it's a very different perspective. You begin to see this industry that I've been in for 29 years from a completely different level. Spending time, the guy that just called me was the chief business officer of Zillow, and I'm like, hey, I'm about to go on stage, I'll call you back in an hour. I remember when he said to me, guys, who has reviews on Zillow? Raise your hands really high. Who remembers, be honest, when they launched reviews, you were like, shit, I'm screwed. Right? That person that I pissed off, that person that I wronged, that, you know, the toilet that I didn't flush, like whatever, right? Like, that's a horrible example, but you know, you all know what I'm talking about. That was actually the agent I bought a house from. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And yet, when they called me and said, hey, we're thinking about launching reviews, my response was, it's about time. The consumer deserves a better quality experience. What they want, no different from you or I, is we want transparency. Who are you? What are you about? Can I fall in love with your eyes? Can I understand your point of view? And does it align with me? And if it does, the sale becomes natural and automatic. You guys with me on this? So I'm going to stress to you right now. You need to over-index on Zillow reviews. You need to literally screw up and accidentally send an email to your entire database saying, hey, and I mean like the whole database. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Would you take a couple minutes and just click here and send me a review? I literally have a client that did that on accident, but he actually put them all in the subject, like in the first line. He didn't BCC them. And he was like, hey, it just means a lot to me if you'd send out a review, because he's really coachable and he did exactly what I told him to do. And he sent it to everybody on, and like the first person went, reply all. not only Cody Longmire from Dallas, Texas, am I going to write a review for you, I'm also letting you know that I'd like to list my house with you because I respect you and trust you that much as a real estate professional. And literally, guys, we're talking like 800 people on it. All started this conversation of a love fest for this guy.
Oh, wow.
You with me on this? So if you're thinking about doing this strategy, make sure your mother is the first person to hit reply all. Just saying, right? But there's no doubt what they're doing over there, and you know why they're my partners between Zillow and B of A. What they're doing right now is making it easier for you to convert at 7, 8, 10, 12% of every lead coming in. Now, I know there's always someone in the room that's like, but I love fax machines, Tom. I don't like this whole internet thing. Do you know what a fax machine is? How old are you, man? 23? That's what I thought. So Google fax machine. How many of you have been selling real estate for more than 20 years? Raise your hands really high. 20 years or more. Raise your hands really high. Do you remember traveling on vacation and saying, I'm taking the fax machine just in case? Right? I have 6 active listings. What if an offer comes in? What if the hotel doesn't have a fax machine? I'll just bring it to, like, some of you are looking at me like, what the are you talking about? Yes, that's what people did. It was crazy. So here's the thing. How many of you are betting on more innovation in the future? I'm just curious. How many of you are paying attention to what's happening in the world today, whether it's human longevity, that we're going to be living 125 to 150 years. There's going to be a great chasm between 70 and gone, which is the traditional, and 125 and 150 all day long, and this stuff already exists today. That's what's happening in our world right now. How many of you are also paying attention to the fact that the consumer wants everything super fast, super pain-free, and effortless? Who's with me on that? How many of you are thinking the customer in the next few years is going to say, I'd like to see some houses? You're going to go, that's outstanding. And you're in the house. And there's no giant black thing on their head. We're not talking about Oculus. I think Oculus was a really cool idea. I bought it early. I love it. I think, unfortunately, it's going to be great for porn, which is a weird thought, but that's usually how the internet works. Just pay attention. Like, that becomes the next trend. Then all of a sudden, we're like, hey, this is really cool for driving cars. The reality is, my friends, everything is speeding up right now. The question is, are you? That was not rhetorical. Everything is speeding up right now. Everything is speeding up right now. The consumer is demanding transparency, a better quality experience. They want to know that you're going to eliminate the pain points of the transaction and make it as beautiful as possible. Does that make sense? You guys with me on this? All right, so do me a favor. Just turn to your buddy and say, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Just watch this. How's the market right now?
It depends.
How's the market?
It depends.
Okay, who was selling real estate in 2007, 8, 9, and 10? How's the market right now? Bananas. You with me? It is so bananas right now that the biggest concern I have as the CEO of this coaching company with all of our clients all over the world is that there's so much money being made right now that people are making easy money, not great money. So do me a favor. Just turn to your buddy and say, he's talking to you again right now. Like, yeah, you're making your 175 and you still don't pay your taxes, but you should. And you got a new Lexus and that's awesome. But like 375, 575, 1,075,000 and 5 million is available right now because the streets are paved with gold. Yes or yes, guys? Yes. Okay, no, this is not motivational. I get phone calls every day like this. Hey, Tom Ferry, we were told we can get some advisory and counsel from you. I'm representing, Mucky Muck from China, and they've given us like $2 billion, and they want to come to the real estate space because they're looking at a $16 billion addressable market of the ad spend, and they're looking at the $80 billion that are paid out in commissions, and they're thinking they've got a better way, and they're just curious, like, would you advise with them? I get those phone calls on a weekly basis. People talking about having billions of dollars to invest into your business. And by the way, some of them love you, and some of them think you're unnecessary. Heads up. Right or wrong, guys? And here's the good news. I'm not talking to anybody right now that thinks discounting is the way. Most of us are agreeing that discounting has completely jumped the shark. That it's really about providing a better quality experience. And what people want, who remembers Disneyland? We want an e-ticket ride. Or in this case, we want the fast track. You guys with me on this? What we want today is a better quality experience. Ask yourself, write this in your notes. What am I doing today to create an extraordinary experience for my buyers, an extraordinary experience for my sellers? Creating a situation where they are wowed by what's going on. Guys, nice t-shirts. I love you. Yeah, baby. Love 10, no apologies. So check it out. We are in the experience economy. Say that to your neighbor. The experience economy. But here's the bummer. And I actually did write down some notes. Consider the following. You ready? You ready? I have only 3 points. Let's write down point number 1. We'll go right into it. The first thing I want you to write down is, the streets are paved with gold. The streets are paved with gold. So I'm going to say some things, and then I'm going to say some things, and then we're going to do a little Q&A. And I hope you can write fast because I talk fast. And if you're not, if you're recording this, even better. If you're doing it live, let me know. Is it live? Is it live like on the coaching page? What up? Get off Facebook and go sell a house. To my own clients. I could be that loving. All right. So the first thing is, the streets are paved with gold. How many of you are with me on this? There is write down the numbers. $80 billion in commission income paid out this year just in the U.S. I know I got some of my beautiful Canadians in the house, and I was talking to Juan, who's everybody from Mexico, right? We deal with people all over the world. In Europe, it's $120 billion in commission income going to be paid out this year, and the average commission is 2% total. 1 and 1. That's the average, right? Who's been to Israel before? Anybody been to Israel before? Right? In Israel, here's I've done 6 seminars on real estate there. Every real estate transaction goes like this. Okay, we come together. We buy, we sell, we get through the paper. Okay, cool. Lawsuit. Every transaction. Every transaction. And they're friendly. Okay, I'm going to sue you now. I'm going to get all the money back. Okay, let's go. It's fantastic. 80 billion. Say that. 80 billion. Say it again. 80 billion. How much of that do you want? All of it? That's a lot of listing appointments. That's a lot of showings. But then I wrote down, just to give you some numbers. You ready? 80 billion. You got that? Okay. 5.5 million transactions. 5.5 million transactions. And the builders are building, and thank goodness, because we have no inventory. So you got 5.5 million transactions. You got $80 billion in commissions. And there's actually some people sitting inside this room wondering how the market is. Questioning what's going on. Where am I going to get my next deal? How can I build a more repeatable and saleable sales machine? The reality is, my friends, be really clear. There's a site called Google. Are you guys familiar with it? Are you guys familiar with it? If you Google how to get more listings now, a whole bunch of shit will show up. You with me on this? We've got to move from ideas to massive action right now. The ideas and the tactics are the easy part. Those of us that are willing to execute and follow up and do the things we know we have to do, that's who's going to make all the money. Now, side note, write this in your notes. So what do I really want? What do you really want? Really, 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 really. What do you really want? And I'm going to actually give you 6 categories that I want you to think about. No order of importance, just 6 categories. So no criteria, this one's number 1, number 2, just 6 things. Ready? How many sales do you really want to make? And the way I actually prefer to look at that is, how many clients do you really want to help? How big is your capacity to care for people? How big is your capacity to care? Are you really good at engineering transactions? Are you really good at negotiating? Are you really good at helping a buyer narrow down their focus and make a decision? Are you really good at going on listing presentations? Is that your superpower? What do you really want? There's so many people I talk to now that are doing 70, 80, 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 1,800, 6,000 transactions. And my friends, they are no smarter, no better, no faster. They are just like all of us inside the room. The difference is they said, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to figure out everything in my power to make that happen. The team, the resources, the marketing, the engineering, everything that's required. But what does it start with first? This is what I really want. This number has meaning to me. Is it doing 50 transactions? Is it 100 transactions? Is it doing 12 transactions at a $2 million average sales price? I don't care. I don't care, but this is what I know. If you don't know, whatever happens, happens, no complaints. You with me? There is a real estate god. Do you guys know that? She sits up there with like a really cool iPad 74, and she just waits for you to say, I declare 75 transactions, and here's my business plan, and you submit it, and she's like, okay, you got it. And everything just kind of lines up. But the vast majority of people, I'm not saying all of you inside this room, but a lot of people I talk to, when I say, what do you want? I want to do a little more than last year. Is that a clear and specific goal? Is that smart? Is that measurable? Right? Can I be accountable to that? Is it results oriented? Is there a timetable associated to it? I love it. Like, hey, how much money do you want? Oh, I just want a little more money than I made last year. I'm like, here's $1. Right? You achieve your goal. It's like, I want to lose weight. I'm like, cut your hand off. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, cut your hand off. That's like 4 or 5 pounds. You're there. Most people aren't clear what they want, right or wrong, guys. Okay, here's the next one. Ready? Income. Income. How much income do you want? Pre and post tax. Who cares? Yes. The answer is yes. How much income do you want? I like walking into Bank of America and the bank teller that I go to knows who I am. You guys make a lot of deposits here. Keep up the good work, Ferry. You with me on this? Everybody likes a trophy. Here's the best trophy. When the bankers go, keep it up, man. That's the trophy I want hanging in my office. Does that make sense? Now, some of you will go, well, Tom, I'm not really into the money. Awesome. Send it all to me. I like it. I'm totally good with it. It empowers me to do more contribution. I just got an email today, wish my wife was out here listening to this, from an orphanage that my sons in 4th grade, their pen pals, were an orphanage in Africa of 150 girls that slept under a tree with nothing. No running water, no cots, no blankets. And if you know anything about a section of Ghana that is just horrible, slavery, it's miserable. And my boys came to me and said, we should do something about this. And 5 of my friends got together and they just sent me the photos of the last 15 girls that graduated on into full ride scholarships in university, and the entire village that my friends and I built because my kids said, we could do something about this. That's the power of money. You guys with me on this? Now you ready? So, you got a sales number? You're not just writing these down. You're actually filling in the blank, yes? Okay, you got a sales number, you got an income number, yes? Okay, next one, savings. 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 How much money do you want cash? I'm not talking about your investment account, I'm not talking about your, whatever, this, that, future stuff, the stock. I'm talking about like cash. You with me? Not cash under the mattress, cash in the bank. How much do you want? Write down a number right now. What would make you feel warm and fuzzy? What would make you feel safe? What would make you feel like calling a for sale by owner and having just a really authentic conversation? Because you don't give a shit if they do anything with you. So instead, you're like, look, man, here's the reality. There's a company called Fizber.com, and guess what? This is the CEO of Fizber calls me. We need your help. I'm like, you're the devil. I don't work with you. No, we want you to invest in it. I'm like, screw you. I'm like, why would I invest in a FISBO company? He's like, no, listen to me. We have a problem. We think you can solve it. I said, what's the problem? They said, on the 61st day, every for sale vendor calls us that markets on our site and says, we need help. Is there a real estate agent? I said, oh, come in the office. Let's have a conversation. Right? And then I told all my clients about it. They're like, this is pretty magical. If you follow up on them, like 61, 62, 65, 68, 70 days, suddenly they list. My client Josh Rubin, if you're watching this now, Josh Rubin, New York City, who's actually snowboarding or skiing right now, is already at, get this, 37 transactions and $45 million in volume year to date. That's a pretty good start, right? Let me say it to you again. 37 transactions, $45 million in volume year to date. Transactions, $45 million in volume year to date. His goal is $10 million in GCI, so you can figure out what his volume is. He's on a 70% split in New York City. For some of you, they're like, oh, I can't even get 95 and I'm pissed. Shut up. He's at a 70% split, and he's absolutely killing it. Everybody on his team is on a 50-50 split of the 70% split. Figure out the math. The difference is, he is so committed to serving customers, and for sale buyers in New York City is 9% of the market. 9%. And they're not like $175,000 3-bedroom, no bath. They're like $3 million apartments. Makes sense, right? So, savings, here's the fourth one. Investments, bless you. Investments. What do you want in investments? What do you want? How many rental properties do you want to own? How many businesses do you want to own? What up, Meryl? What do you want? Do you guys understand how like my mind just melts when I hear this? Hey, how was your week? Unbelievable. I took this listing, Tom, I put it in the MLS, 27 offers in like 14 seconds. And I'm like, you're a dumbass. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, tell me about the property. Well, it was like a $175,000 house, needs a little carpet paint, fix it up, total no-brainer. I knew it's an investment deal. I'm like, bro, call me. Call me. I'll fix it up. You fix it up. You will flip it. You'll make more money, and you get the listing on the back end, you knucklehead. How many agents you guys know that own no real estate? I know a ton. And that scares me. That's like, yeah, I work at Lexus, but I drive an Audi. Like, that's just off, right? There's just something like incongruent with the brand. Now, some of you say, but Tom, I over-leveraged and I owned a bunch of real estate in 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, rockstar, and I lost everything. Well, you were a dumbass. You over-leveraged. Right? Hello, pay attention. It's not, that means it's bad. It means that you did something wrong. What's the lesson? Do it again. Does that make sense? How many of you are with me on this? Well, I don't like real estate. Weird profession. All right, let's keep going. Like, not even going to go there. Ready? Not in order of importance, but it should be number one. Ready? What are your love goals? What do you really want? What do you really want? Your love goals. What do you mean? Are you single? You can have lovers, right? Multiple. Some of you are married, you figured out you can do the same. Careful. Just saying, careful. But okay, how many of you have a significant other? Raise your hands really high. Who's got a significant other? Okay, so just heads up. You're going to have an anniversary of some kind this year, yes? Unless it's already happened. So why don't you renew everything on your anniversary coming up? And why don't you not tell your spouse about it? Why don't you create a game that says, I'm going to have my spouse fall head over heels in love with me. I do this all the time. I got to be careful, my wife's out there. A buddy of mine and I will play this game where we'll say, this, like for the next 90 days, every week, let's commit to do one thing that causes our spouse to love us even more, but we're not allowed to say, I love you. Right? So you can't just go, I love you. And by the way, after like the third time you get flowers, it doesn't land as well. Do you follow me? And suddenly you have to get yellow stickies and like write notes all over the house and name them 1 of 27, and the game is they have to find them all. You with me on this? And you, what does that have to do with the real estate seminar? Everything. Because how many agents, guys, I live in California. You want to hear the numbers? 50% divorce rate in the U.S., 60% in California, 72 in Orange County where I live. 72% divorce rate. You know what I want to be in Orange County, California? A divorce attorney. Because they kill it all day, every day. And that's a horrible statistic, yes or yes? So what are your love goals? And the last one, number 6, what are your health and vitality goals? What are your health and vitality goals? What are your health and vitality goals? What do you want? Well, Tom, you don't understand. You know, my thyroid's off. You understand, I'm big boned. Shut up. You understand, my parents were this way. No, you eat too much and you don't exercise. That's what I understand. It's just, that's it, right? I'm going to write a book on that. 2 pages. Eat less, exercise more. 3rd page. Are you still reading? So now, do me a favor. You ready? I know the real estate God, we're very tight. Write down a specific answer to every one of those. Right now. Go. I want a specific answer to every one of those. And by the way, no one's asked me what the time frame is. So can I give you a time frame? Yes. 5 years. 5 years. Or better. This is what I want to accomplish in the next 5 years or better. You got 5 years. What do you want? Five years. What do you want? How many sales do you want to do in 5 years? 1 a day? 1,000? I got a couple clients that are doing 1,000. It's fun. Do you want to be involved in the transaction, or do you want to just run the team that gets 1,000? Better. That's cool. How many locations?
Yeah.
You know what's cool about this business? You get to decide how you want it to be. There's no real estate rules that say No, you have to conform to only do it this way. I mean, legal, moral, ethical, you know what I mean? Multi-team, one team, 7,000 agents. One of my clients last year, his name is Andy C. He made $4.7 million in San Jose, California, Silicon Valley, right? He's the king of open houses and geographic farming. Those are his two best sources, right? Geographic farming and open houses, open house being first. Andy, for all my coaching members, go onto the Tom Ferry page in the Resource Center, type in Andy C, T-S-E, and watch his open house presentation. It is, I'm gonna have him do it again at Tom X this year. It is so good, there's so many views on it, it's unbelievable. So I said, Andy, 5 years ago, what do you want? He said, I want to make $5 million a year. I want a sales team, but I don't want a sales team in the traditional sense. I said, what do you want? He said, I want basically 6 people that door knock all day long, find listing opportunities, bring me in, I close it, and we split it 50-50. I said, that's great. Guess what he has? 7 people doing that. They find the deals, they bring him in. His superpower is winning the listing. That's his superpower. So what do we want Andy doing every day? Going on listing appointments, as many as he can. He has 4 kids. He coaches all 4 of them. And in between sports and athletics, he goes on listing appointments. Like, that's kind of the way his life has been set up because he decided how he wanted it to be. Make sense? All right, you got all 6 answered? Okay, 5 years from now. Now, here's the deal. You're going to be really pissed in 5 years. Because you're going to look at your list and go, what the heck was I thinking? I was playing really small. So look anywhere on your list and add a 0 where appropriate. You got 5 years. What's the worst case scenario? You wrote down, I want to make $1 million a year, or I want like $800,000 in savings, and you write $8 million and you epically fail and get to $3.5 million in savings? That's terrible. Suicide is the only option. But seriously, like most of us, we're shrinking because of the environment, the people we spend our time with. No one you know has that kind of money, right? Don't worry, you know Andy C, right? I mean, don't worry about it, right? Bigger numbers. The worst case scenario is you learn something. Cool? Okay, so you guys got your list? Share with the person to your right or left. He needs a buddy right behind you. Share with your buddy real quick. Right now. Go, quick.
Mine up to boom.
Yeah, I kind of did.
3 offices, and I went from 120 agents to 1,200 agents because that's my 0. And then instead of 240 million, 2.4 billion. With 1,200 agents, we could do it. What's yours?
1.3 million. 1.3 million. So 9.4, 1.3. So everybody, all my coaching clients, pay attention. 9.4 million and 1.3 million, and the last one is 156,000. So I'm gonna ask you all a question with those numbers in mind. Ready? Play a game with me. It's 5 years before you decide to retire. 5 years before you decide to retire. Now, I was last Saturday night, some of you know my coaching client Maxine Gellens turned 80. I was at her 80th birthday party. She's been selling real estate for 43 years. She dances 3 hours a day competitively, now around the world as a ballroom dancer, and last year made $3.3 million in commissions. Right? She's basically the most kick-ass grandmother you will ever meet in your life. You with me? And she's just a baller, right? And her and I have this conversation. By the way, we started having it 19 years ago when I became her coach. So now here we are going into our 20th year together. When I became her coach. So now here we are going into our 20th year together, and basically 10 years ago, she was done financially. Because I asked her, so it's 5 years away from retirement, where do you want to be? Like, what's the number that we're driving towards? So it's not just about taking another listing and making another sale, but there's this allocation of funds that we're always paying ourselves first. We're always saving money. We're making investments. We get X amount, we buy another investment property. We put money in the stock market. Whatever's your flavor. But like that was always the mission. And guys, like 10 years ago, she was done. And she's still making $3.3 million a year. Like that's a quality problem when you're 80, right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then your best friend becomes Mary Murphy from Dancing with the Stars. And every time Mary calls and says, want to go to London and go to this dance competition? Guess what she says? Sure, that sounds great. And she goes. Like, that's awesome, right or wrong? And she's a real estate agent. And I know what category she's in. So ready? 9.4. You guys got that number? That means you have a $1 million net worth. That is the current, so Becky, I just did all this research again, right? Even from our Team Plus call. The most recent stat just came out in January of 2017. There are 9.4 million people in the US worth $1 million in net worth. Now there's 360 million-ish people, if you count the real number. I know there's the 325 of the real number. You with me on this? So all those people in the US, there's 131 million households. That's another way to look at it. So 131 million households, and 9.4 million of them have $1 million net worth. Now, can you do it? Most, like a lot of you I know, are already there, right? You've already hit that number, right? You were smart enough to buy a couple houses in 7, 8, 9 in Las Vegas for like $4, and now they're worth like $87,000. Which I have a lot of clients that did that, and they're like, hey, this is really awesome. And I know others that are buying apartment buildings. I know others that have bought and sold things. I know a couple that own gas stations. There's like multiple things you can do. But there's 9.4 million people, right, in the US that have $1 million net worth. So guess what the next jump is? 1.3 million people have a net worth between 5 and 25 million. 5 and 25 million. 5 and 25 million. That's a big jump, by the way. 5 to 25 million is a whole lot of do-re-mi. Like, that's called your kids are going to be just fine, and so are their kids, unless they're idiots. You with me on this? Because since you're going to put it all in a trust and organize it anyway, it's all going to be fine. And then the fun number is 156,000 is $50 million and above. 50. 50 million and above. So play a game. It's 5 years from the day you decide to be done. And by the way, you're going to live to be either 70 or 125, so you should decide. You with me on this? Like, 70 sounds like old at 23, but trust me, bro. 70 comes up like that, right? Really quick. So here's the deal. Since you're going to live longer, and you might be selling real estate for longer or doing something else, tell your buddy right now, of those 3 groups, and tell your buddy, what group do you want to be a part of?
Minimum second.
There's basically 4 primary problems. Number 1 is a lack of awareness. So for some of you, I just made you aware that there is a ticking clock. Ticking talk, ticking clock. You're like, yeah, ticking talk, whatever the hell that is. You should all Google tonight the Google Death Calendar. Google it. You should dead serious, guys. Google the Death Calendar, and here's what it's going to say. The average American woman lives to be this long. Your date of birth, you have this many seconds left. It is the single most motivating thing on the planet. Because you're like, holy shit, I gotta start. Right? So awareness, which is the first step of all change. You don't make a change till you say, hello, my name is Tom and I'm an alcoholic, or whatever that is. That's when it all begins. Number 2, though, is the lack of urgency. That you think that someday you can start later. Like, when I finally close that big deal, that's when I'll finally do it. When I finally, get through this, or when my kids finally get away of that. By the way, who has kids? They cost forever until you die. Just heads up. I know this because many of my clients have kids that are now in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, and some of them are still smoking weed, playing video games, and living in the basement. We've made them the ISA. It's awesome. Pays the bills. The third thing is no plan. No plan. No plan. So what do you got to do? You got to say, okay, I want to own 10 units at $1 million in total value, and I want to pay them down in 15-year notes, and I want to buy them over the next, 1 a year for the next 10 years. So I need to save this much money. You just start just doing the numbers. Like, this is what you do when people are like, well, should I buy the house and what about the payments? Like, you don't go, oh, I don't know. Right? You know the numbers, you know the values, you can figure out. Do you guys know House Canary? Do you guys know House Canary? What? Okay, just side note, check out House Canary. House Canary does really accurate 3, 5, 10, 15, and 20-year predictions on housing. It's insane. It's a secret. Like, it's a bunch of really smart engineers, and they have no sales team, and they called me. I was in San Francisco with them last week, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane, and you guys don't know how to sell. This is awesome. So keep it on the down low. Like, don't tell anybody about it, okay? And number 4, you ready, is a lack of accountability and structure. So nobody's saying how much of what, by when, what are you doing? How much of what, by when, what are you doing? A financial planner, your spouse, a best friend, a business coach, a manager, a mentor. There's a lot of ways you can get structure and accountability. You with me on this? All right, let's go to major point number 2. That was only number 1. Shit, I gotta hurry up. Okay, number 2. Number 2. First of all, that's a heavy point, yes? So just do me a favor, clap it up for your buddy. Clap it up for your buddy.
Good job, buddy.
My friends, if I told you the number of agents I know that sell a truckload of houses and have no money, you would be shocked. And if I told you the number of agents I know that sell a truckload of houses and have all the money, you would also be shocked. It all is just a choice. I just talked to a client recently. I talked about this on the Team Plus call. I said, talk to this guy, and I can't say his name. He's a coaching client, 2 years with us. Sold 60 houses last year, made a little over $300,000. That's good, right? Right? He has no money. He has very little equity in his own house, very little. He's got 2 very aging parents that he wants to be closer to him. Can't afford to really do that, but he wants to. He's making $300,000 a year and making no money. You want to know why? Because he buys dumb shit all the time. Do you guys know someone that buys dumb, like has a house full of dumb shit? Okay, don't be a dumb shit. I'm really serious. Like, how much more stuff do you need? I mean, at a certain point, you have enough shit. Sell it all on eBay. Get some of the money back. You with me? So, and get this. I said, how much money do you have saved? He told me the amount. I almost threw up in my mouth. I said, my friend, if heaven forbid, God bless, please know, something tragic happened to your parents or your wife or your children, you are screwed. Right or wrong, guys? He is the sole breadwinner and responsible for his aging parents and his 3 kids, one of which is just going into college. I'm like, brother, you got to be selling like 8,000 homes a year. And you know what I actually told him? I want you to sell less houses. Less houses. He said, what are you talking about? I said, I want you, instead of taking the $115,000 property and putting it in the MLS and selling it in 2 seconds and celebrating and going to buy more dumb stuff, I want you instead to call me, we will buy it, and fix it up with probably $8,000 or $9,000, carpet and paint, put it right back on the market, sell it for $150, and we'll split the spread. He was like, really? I'm like, every day of the week. Right or wrong, guys? Because if you have deals, the money is everywhere. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? You need to be thinking about deals. Find deals. Find deals. You find deals. You find money. You stop working for tips. Let that sink in. You with me? When you're flipping your killer investment deals to someone else who's making 8 or 9 or 15% and you're satisfied with your 2, shame on you. Shame on you. You with me on this? Turn to your buddy and say, he's kind of pissing me off. But you like it, because you know I'm speaking the truth, guys. You know I'm speaking the truth, and it's only out of love, right? I don't want to see another person I know, because will the market turn? Yes or yes? And when the market turns and the world goes on sale, who's going to buy it all next time?
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. You with me on this? That means you better be thinking about saving now and doing deals now and learning that stuff now while you're keeping your real estate business going. Yes or yes? Because the streets are paved with. You with me? The deals and the dollars are everywhere, and you guys sit in the hub of it, which leads me to my second major point. You ready? Write down the following. I am in the sales and marketing business. I am in the sales and marketing business. That's the business that you're in. You happen to sell a product called housing. Good news, it's in demand. Better news, do you know that it's 17% of the GDP of the U.S.? It's 17% of the GDP of the U.S. That's the market you chose to serve. Now, housing itself is only like 5.5 to 6% of 22 trillion, excuse me. But think about that. Think about that. You sit in the hub of a massive demand, 87 million new millennials coming into the market in droves with no product and inventory. What are you doing about it? I'm working more buyers. How's that working out for you? I'm writing offers every day, $60,000 over asking and not even getting the deal. Welcome to real estate. Isn't it fun? Start drinking heavily at 10 a.m. So here's what I wrote down. You ready? That's the good news. The demand is fantastic. The bad news is there's a $16 billion ad spend coming into the market every single year trying to secure your past clients, your sphere, and your leads to go someplace else. Think about that. Now, some of you, you've aligned with these companies, right? And you're partnering with them. That's smart. Some of you, you're not paying attention, right? And you're partnering with them. That's smart. Some of you, you're not paying attention to the fact that there's television, radio, internet. Everybody that's paying attention right now is pumping money into the long-term game to get everyone you know into their funnel so they can mature on them and offer them more services. That's the game, right or wrong, guys? So here's what I wrote down. You ready? How big is your net? I go, how big of a net are you casting in that? Is it Dillon? Am I saying that right? Dillon. In Dillon, where's Dillon, Colorado? Oh, suffer. Yeah, screw you. All right. Good market, right? And far enough away from Denver, but close enough. Is it a second home community or is it the beginning of? Second home community. And there's no money right now in the second home community markets, is there? All my clients in Aspen, like pretty much everywhere. You with me? It's bananas. And if you're not crushing it online, you're not crushing it. Right? That's the game. So here's what I wrote down. You ready? How big is the net that you're casting? So I'll tell you a little story, Michael. Check this out. 6 or 7 years ago, I'm in Munich, Germany, doing a seminar. By the way, anybody German in the house? Germans? No, I mean like hardcore. Okay, like it's expected. Like I'm gonna even like straight. Okay, so yeah, you speak English, right? So get this. I'm working with my buddy Michael Pulsler, right? So the Pulsler family owns a third of the globe as the master franchise for Remax, right? So when Remax says we have 115,000 agents, 40,000 of them fall under my friend and his family. You with me? They're printing money. They have 22,000 agents in Europe, and you know how big Germany is, the number of people there. So I'm in Munich at a Roccaforte property, and we're running on the treadmill with my buddy Baron von Volker Weissenberger. When people refer to you as Baron, you're hot shit. You with me on this? So I'm with Volker, we're running. He's watching like David Hasselhoff MTV videos, right? And I haven't been like in my home country for a while, so I'm flipping through the channels trying to find anything English, and the only thing that shows up is constant negative news. You guys know constant negative news? So I'm like, all right, I'll deal with a little negative news, whatever. So I'm watching CNN, and it's awesome because I immediately have context for it because this dude with a really big beard with a Boston accent said Wicked, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this, because my wife's family's from Boston, and he's like, it's not fair, it's not fair. The Japanese are coming into our waters, and they're stealing all of our tuna, and they're killing us, it's not fair, right? Well, so tell us, what are you doing to compete with them? Well, it's just unreal, we're out there with our boats, and we're doing everything we can, but these guys are coming in with these big boats, and then they flash to the Japanese CEO, who in perfect English said, it's very simple. We use the most advanced technology. We fly 747s over the ocean, shooting down radar to find out where the giant schools of fish are. Then we bring in our fleet of 7 to 8 ships with 9 miles of net, and we just scoop up all the fish, and occasionally some boats. Right? Back to the tuna guy in Boston. It's not fair. These guys are wicked. They're killing us. It's not fair. How big is your net for marketing and lead generation right now? Right? Of course, the guy says, hey, you know what they're doing in Japan, though? It's not fair. They're taking the tuna out of the water even when they're too small. You can't do that. You can't take listing leads out of the market when they're not going to list for 2 years. You can't incubate on them. That's bullshit. And the Japanese guy goes, it's very simple. What we discovered is we capture all these fish that need at least another year and a half before they mature. We can cut their head off and sell them. So what we did is we just took giant pieces of ocean and we just let them get fattened up and we grow them inside there before we cut their heads off and put them out there for sale. You know what that's called? Lead incubation. How big is your net, my friends? How big is your net? There are so many people that want to buy in your marketplace. Have you gone to like census.org and done the where are buyers coming from and moving to into your marketplace? Have you guys done that? So don't tell anybody about that. Census.org. And all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, I'm in Peoria, and everyone that big shout out to Peoria, and everyone that's coming from Peoria is from this weird little part of Calgary. So what are all the Calgary people doing buying in Peoria? Who was the origin of this? Is it community? And you actually see the movement of where people are coming from and the amounts and percentages, but you wouldn't want to have that as a marketer, would you? I mean, that's a bad idea. But then, ready? So I'm going to give you guys a little insight. And we got to write fast. In January of this year, we surveyed our elite clients and I asked them this question. Where did your listings come from in 2017? Where did your listings come from in 2017? They gave us 12 different categories. We're going to write them all down. And what I want you to do is go to this thing called Google and type in best campaign for marketing to, and then name the category. You with me? I could spend 7 days with you and teach you all this stuff. But the reality is, tactics can be found online. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? Especially in our ecosystem, just on the Facebook page, right? Go to tomferry.com in the resource center. Just type in what you want. And everything is there. So you ready? Here is the order of importance. I'm not saying that you have to follow this order of importance. You need to know your business, your DNA, your superpowers, and then you decide. So you ready? Number 1 was database. No shocker. We're going to write it fast. You ready? Number 1 is database. Number 2 is mega open houses. Not open houses. Mega open houses, where we are using it as a listing attraction tool and showcasing the house. Is everybody with me on this? Who understands mega open houses? Give me a yes if you understand that. Okay, I mean, read James Suarez's mega open house campaign on tomferry.com, and it gives you everything he does. The Instagram photos, everything he does. The food trucks, to get 600 people to show up to his open houses. That's bananas. He needs a team of people to work it. And all he does is stand there and they go, is this really going to sell for $875? That's a good question, yes or no? And he's like, matter of fact, we think we'll probably average 11 offers on this property, and yes, it'll end up selling for more. Then I'm curious, with 10 buyers crying because they didn't get it, and 1 new happy neighbor, who do you know inside this room that's had any thoughts of selling? That's all you're doing, over and over and over and over. Okay, next one, number 3, geographic farming. Absolutely dominating right now. Number 3 source, geographic farming, right? Picking a community where the turnover is good and becoming the mayor of that community. My client Josh Rubin happens to be the mayor of 88,000 apartments in New York City. 88,000. Started with 2 at 147 unit buildings, 2 of them. Now is at 88,000 that he mails to twice a month. Figure out his marketing bill just on that. It's $350 for $4 million in commissions. That's a good ROI, right or wrong. And Josh, who I love, and Josh, if you're watching this right now, this is Josh every time. I get that bill and I just, I'm like, bro, I'll pay it. Just give me half the money. Right or wrong, guys? I mean, if you could put $1 in and get 6 out, you do it all day long, yes or yes. Right? Odds are way better than Vegas, my friends. Next one, ready? Number 4, agent-to-agent referrals. Agent-to-agent referrals for listings. We have thousands of coaching members that are working relationships, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, you work your network of relationships, and all of a sudden, and then you go to your conferences with your company, and all of a sudden, and then you just meet other people, and all of a sudden, agent-to-agent referrals. Big opportunity. Number 4 on the list. Number 5, ZRT. Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, Move.com, online portals, right? I need to buy, but I need to sell before I buy, right? Huge opportunity right now. Number 6, expired listings. Yes, they do exist because sellers, even in a hot market, overprice the property so much. And do we really need to see like another photo of like an agent, right, holding their phone like this into the mirror of the bathroom, and you just see the arm? There's only 4 reasons why a home doesn't sell. You guys know all this stuff. You're at Sales Edge, right? So 6 is expired. Number 7 is sign calls. Sign calls, which is, by the way, when you do open houses, why you put out 30 signs on your open houses. So people go, I see your signs everywhere. That's better than, how long you been in the business? Who are you? You with me? I see your signs everywhere. Why, thank you. I try not to be a secret agent. All right, number 8, seller-focused online advertising. Seller-focused online advertising. Search for more immediate Facebook, because I want listings in 19, 20, and 21. You with me on this? Search for immediate, and then long-term Facebook. By the way, guys, how many of you are using, like, how many of you are running ads on Google? Just curious. You're like paid search. Paid search. Okay, so just for like the 15 of you, check this out. Do you know that now, so I just talked to Raluca Monet, who's at Google, who, by the way, left the real estate advertising portal, and now she's running cloud services, right, for Google, so she's moving up, but she's still a buddy, and I'm like, hey, I heard rumor that a client that goes to Google and types in homes for sale in Peoria, right, and then they look at a bunch of stuff, that I could then tag that lead as a person, and then the next time they're on YouTube, any video they watch, I could record a short form advertisement video that says, are you looking for a house in Peoria? I'm Tom Ferry. Call me today at 555-1212 because I have 4 houses right now that are about to hit the market. That shit's real. And it's happening right now. She's like, okay, who did you hear that from? I said, Gary Vaynerchuk. She said, okay. She's like, yes, and it's completely crazy and only a few people are doing it. I want you to think about what I just said there. You could literally go into your Google ad, AdWords, and say, what are the most searched terms in my marketplace that have, homes for sale in, looking for an apartment in, looking for a real estate investment opportunity, blah, and then basically take every one of your little short videos associated to that, which Google AdWords does for you, and then they will pepper them all over YouTube. Super cool. And by the way, you want to talk about a direct ask? Like, are you looking for a home for sale in Peoria? They're like, I was just online looking for a home for sale in Peoria. Right? But what you don't want to do is this. Hi, I'm Tom Ferry, and I sell a lot of houses, and I really love people, and it's really fun, and I serve the communities of, and they've already gone, in their mind, checked out. So it's like, are you looking for a home for sale in Peoria? Are you looking for a home for sale in Phoenix? Are you looking for a home for sale in Paradise Valley? Like, are you looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home today in Paradise Valley under $1 million? I'm Tom Ferry and I can help. Holy shit, that's exactly what I was looking for. It's just Google AdWords. It's just Google AdWords. You go and Google, how do I put small short films on YouTube associated to, and they'll go, did you mean it? It's that one. All right, so you ready? Next one is number 9, investors. You got to go fast. Number 9, investors, specifically non-owner occupieds. Specifically in your marketplace, non-owner occupieds. Number 10, for sale by owners. Number 10, for sale by owners. Number 11, professional networking. Number 12, builders. There is so much opportunity right now on builders. It is bananas to me. I was shocked that it was not in the top 6. Right? I know for certain segments of our clients, in Seattle right now, guys, my clients in Seattle, Washington, get this. The inventory right now, there is 0.5 months available of inventory.
Jeez.
0.5 months. And guess what? It's going to get better. Not real soon. Like maybe in the next 10 years, it'll get better. 0.5 months. So you know what the smart agents are doing? They're going and sitting down with their title rep and saying, let's create a strategy. Show me every property, like in their area, that's zoned R2, but there's only one house on it. So I can build 2, but there's only 1, right? And they narrow 50,000 homes down to like, here's 827 properties. And then they say, can you also show me how many of those properties are owned by someone that's been there for more than 20 years? And then they go knock on the door and introduce themselves and talk about what are your thoughts and have you ever considered, and boy, wouldn't it be great? And tell me about this house. You bought this, your family's owned this since like 1905? That explains why the doors are this short and it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. You with me? And guess what? You buy that first one, or your builder buys it, or your investor buys it, and you get a commission on the front end, and 18 months later, or a year, if you got a really good builder, you got 2 more listings on the back end. That's called being smart in today's environment. Does that make sense? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so do me a favor. Turn to your buddy and say, which of those are you going to cast your net on?
Those are you going to cast your net.
Having an accent helps. If you're female and you have an accent, screw you, you have the unfair advantage. I'm dead serious. Okay, raise your hands if you're female. Raise your hands if you have an accent. Like, you kill it. All females with an accent. Like some of you are like, I have an accent. Like I talk like, oh my God. Like that's not an accent. That does work kind of. I mean, if you live in Philly and you speak like you're from the Valley of Los Angeles, you have an accent. But here's the deal. You ready? So how are you going to, guys, look around the room really fast. Just look around the room. Look at all these people. How do we pick you? This is what consumers deal with every single day. Look at all these options. Look at all these people. How do you break through the noise? How do you become a recognizable agent in your marketplace in a 2018 environment? It's not about bus benches, though I have clients that do those. It's not about billboards, and I even have clients that do those. But now my billboard would be like this, right? Like that would be it. Or it'd be like, I would just be like this. Like just a photo of me on my phone. And it would say, are you looking at your phone right now? Or are you looking at this? You should be looking at the road. Please drive safely. Right? Like you have to do something to stand out. Yes or yes, guys? You know, saying that you're a nice agent and you're a market area specialist is a bunch of baloney in a 2018 environment. So here's what I wrote down. You ready? Here's the 3 questions I want to challenge you with. Write down the questions. How do I maintain Tom, which is top of mind? How do I maintain Tom with my database? How do I maintain top of mind awareness with my database? Right? I am getting so many bomb videos right now in my email box because a whole bunch of you are on prompt. So I'm getting the text version and the video version, right? And it's the same subject line, and it's the same, and I don't care, right? Because it's just clients sending them on their list, right? So it's awesome. But that tells me that automatically they are sending stuff out, they're staying top of mind as an example, right? But is 16 emails enough to stay top of mind when we're getting blasted with 40 to 60,000 messages every single day, all the time? Question number 2 for you. What do you do to then build rapport, add value, and become a resource for thousands of prospects in your marketplace? So one thing is, what am I doing to stay top of mind? But on the flip side, what am I doing to then add value, build rapport, and be a resource for 7, 8, 10, 15,000 future buyers in my marketplace? Like, I'm already in my mind thinking, the next agent that creates a show called the First Time Buyer Solution in Peoria, and every single day they are pumping out content and interviews with first-time buyers and interviews with Bank of America that can get you a 3% loan as a first-time buyer. You with me? Like 3% down. Like having these conversations, because there's 87 million first-time buyers coming in the market over the next 10 years. Hello?
Hello.
You guys with me on this? Mm-hmm. Like, but that's just one segment. What about where all the money is in the other segment of the people that own all the real estate that are now trying to figure out how to compartmentalize their life and organize their life? I'm going to sell off all the units I don't care about anymore. There's a whole bunch of that too. But here's the third question. You ready? And how will you build trust before they ever engage you? How will you build trust before they ever even engage you? I'm curious. How many of you have watched the Tom Ferry show? Okay, I know you're writing, and some of you are writing fast and some of you aren't. So this is an important one. How many of you ever watched a Tom Ferry show? Ever? Who's watched more than one? Ever? Has anybody binge watched a little Tom Ferry yet? Yeah. I love that. Like, you have no idea. Thank you so much. I love you all. Right? Like, I get these, like, Twitter, tweets like, Saturday morning binge watching at Tom Ferry. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Netflix, this is awesome, right? Like, that's cool. And I immediately tweet back, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, is this really you? I'm like, no, it's me. I'm actually a robot. I'm just acting like Tom. No, I'm just kidding. But here's the thing, you ready? That's the game in 2018. The game is the Tom Ferry show. You with me? The game is what HubSpot does today. The game is what Zillow does today. What Bank of America, every big brand right now has figured out one thing. Whoever is creating content all the time that educates, builds rapport, inspires, shares, learning lessons, teaching, that's who wins. Who has at least like 5 videos on YouTube? Raise your hands really high. How many of you think that YouTube is a pretty important medium for marketing your business? Okay, all of you that didn't raise your hand, you should leave the industry. No, guys, listen to me. I talk to people every single day that's like, I'll say, hey, really smart person, check out this website, and this is what I hear. If there's not a video on it, I would never invest in it. Because that person doesn't get what's going on now. We don't have time to read. I don't want to see just pretty pictures. Give me a video that tells me your promise, your solution, how you do it, yada yada, and I'm in. And there are a million agents that don't even have a video on their website today. And then they wonder why they're getting lost. Now, for all my friends that use YouTube, check this out. We had our first super viral video last October. The only reason why is I got a heads up in August of last year, and here's what YouTube said to me. If you create daily content, you will go like this. And I was like, daily content? And I turned to my guy Richard and said, how many old Tom Ferry videos do we have? How many old seminars do I have? How many? He's like, we have like every summit we've ever done. We have every Tom X talk. We have every. I said, start cutting all that shit up and get it on YouTube every single day. You with me on this? Now some of you are like, but I don't have that. So guess what you have to do? Hi, my name is Tom Ferry, and I work with Banana Real Estate right here in beautiful Peoria. I just spent the last 3 days at an event called Sales Edge, and though I understand no one ever wants to be sold, that's not the intention of the program, it was actually how do we market and how do we negotiate the absolute best possible transaction for every one of our buyers and every one of our sellers. Yes, I actually spent 3 days learning how to negotiate on behalf of my customers. So if you're looking for someone that knows how to negotiate, who has been skilled in this art, yeah, like every day, something, right? Walking down the street. Oh my God, it's raining in Phoenix. Have you noticed? This is the first time I've ever seen this. This is remarkable. And you just tag it, raining in Phoenix, and next thing you know, you're like #1 in search. Because it's never been there before. Now, I know when I say that, a whole bunch of you get a little bit nervous, but I know you're at Sales Edge and you're working with Bill Pipes and you're doing all this stuff, so let me keep going. You ready? Here's the actual thing I want you to do. All my coaching members, listen very carefully, and all my smart peeps in the room, listen up. This is what I want every week. I want a video that gets broadcasted through your email, social, and your site. I want a video that gets broadcasted through your email, your social channels, and your site. So just start with a video a week. Just a video a week. Ready? How's the market? Check out this new listing. Hey, I'm sitting down today with my lender. Hey, Bob, tell us about 3% loans at Bank of America. We had no idea. Right? Hey, hi, my name is Tom Ferry. I'm a real estate agent right here in Peoria. I'm looking right now at my screen. This is Zillow right now. And what I'm noticing is there's absolutely no homes on the market under 225, and the average time in the market's like 14 seconds. So I did another search. Let me show you guys this other website. Here's what I know. We have at my office all pocket listings coming soon amongst all the agents. See all the red dots? These are all the properties that we have coming soon. Click back over to Zillow. This is Zillow. Zillow has all the active listings for sale, and as you can see, there's none. Click back over to your site. But this is where all the pocket listings are. If you or someone you know is looking to find a house online or offline, or just simply you don't care, you just want to find a house, call me today at 555-1212 because one of these 27 may be right for you. This is why I get paid the big bucks. Thank you, right? Because this is genius. It's only genius if you execute on it. You with me on this? Because otherwise, it's just another freaking idea, right? Ideas are shit. Please tag me on it. Absolutely, yeah. But you guys with me on this? But then I wrote down the following. Ready? Spend time weekly creating content, like a video. Always video first. You guys want to know why? Want to know why always video first? Because then you're going to repurpose the video. So write this down. You ready? The first repurpose of the video is you take the text from the video, and now it's a blog. You with me? So now I've got the video, and then the text from the video, and the text is my blog, which goes on my website, and Medium, and others, and all of a sudden, PeoriaNews.com is saying, can we use some of your content? We'd like to add it into our news feed. And your response is what? Absolutely. Yes, 1,000% yes. And because you've been doing it for a while, you're actually calling the editors now and letting them know you have this because they all need more content. That's the truth. You ready? So we're going to repurpose it first in text, right? Then we're going to repurpose it and convert it into a podcast. You with me? So now you have your first-time buyer Hoobie-Doo Peoria podcast that every week there's something new, and all of a sudden first-time buyers are typing in, looking to buy my first house in Peoria, what are some mistakes to avoid? And there's 6 videos from you, 6 blog posts from you, and there's 6 audio podcasts. And guess what they do? Guess what they do right now? They click the podcast. That's what's hot right now. You with me? They click the podcast. Make sense? But you're not done. From that same one video that you shot, you're also going to edit 3 to 5 15, 30, and 45-second clips of it and put those on Instagram and Facebook. Short versions of the actual video you did, right? And it could just be there's no homes for sale on Zillow right now, but here are the pocket listings we have. If you're looking for a pocket listing right now in Peoria, something that no one else knows about, call me today at 555-1212, and the video ends. You with me? Just that specific little piece. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Twitter. Don't get choosy about your medium. Put your stuff everywhere. If I could do smoke signals, I would light things on fire and start sending messages. You with me? Like, I don't care. All right, so you ready? Or cold call like crazy. I have time for 2 questions. Meryl. Yes.